and said in front of the whole group, I just didn't realize, what slavery was, and I just don't understand how, she said how we could be so mean to you. And again, it's a fourth grader, but it gave me chills because I'm like, this kid gets it. And if this is the kind of response we can have, when did I? Well, I'm happy to answer the question. I'm a complex guy. I actually, growing up in Maryland, my parents took me to a United Methodist church, and it was actually where Fairhaven United Methodist. It was actually a church where two historically black churches and a white church came together to form one church. So throughout, from the time I was a baby to, teenager, I had, there was a black pastor, often taught by a black Sunday school teacher. We had an awesome gospel choir. So part of, and again, I'll also say that experience of seeing and appreciating others' cultures through singing and through even preaching style. I don't need to preach that to you all. I mean, just different styles of how the word is delivered, for example, I think made me feel more comfortable. Now, again, growing up in Washington, going to the battlefields. Again, I'll give my parents a lot of credit for taking me to Gettysburg and Antietam, and trying to tell me the full story. So again, I feel that I kind of had a foundation, but it's really, as I said in the very beginning, I honestly believe it. Having that foundation now, coming before Monroe and living it day in and day out and interacting with folks, I think kind of has been, maybe kind of it's kind of like maybe the second part of my education, if you will. But I really feel like that environment, growing up in a church where it was okay to have a black pastor, or where it was okay to stand up and sing and move around a little bit, and that I think for me was great. But again, I also look back, I know that a lot of people just don't have that, and
Your
so
state.
I hope that answers your question a little bit. I'm being completely honest with you. That's the kind of guy I am. No,
It was a thing.
It's okay.
The work of a person, if they really get it, if they get it, then what you read about what they read and what they put out is going to be a whole lot different. When you read it, you can tell this person really did different kind of work, other than just this very law kind of work.
I'll also share, my wife's a teacher in Virginia Beach, but the first 3 years she taught, she was teaching in downtown Norfolk at Jaycox Elementary. And I think she had 4 white students for her whole 3 years. And I would, kindergarten. And I would go into the class and volunteer. And I think that was about the same time I actually got a job at Fort Monroe. So again, seeing the hardships that these kids had, and my wife coming home so torn because it was so hard, because she would say, I just want to love these kids, and some of these kids won't even let me love them. And they're kindergartners, and she says, that some of these kids have to go home and babysit their 3-year-old brother as a 5 or 6-year-old. So again, I think that for me was also kind of inspiring in a sense that it's all of our responsibility. We're a community, and she gives those kids love. At the end of the day, they leave the class and they know they're loved. And I think so. In the second part of your question, I think that experience of going into the classroom and seeing kids that just want love made me realize, in kind of in my own way, that this is another reason we need to do this work, because it's an extension of that. Because these kids everybody needs to, this information needs to be accessible, and we don't need to sugarcoat history. I'll be the first to say American history is ugly, American history is nasty, it's dirty, it's, but not to be flip, I think that's why we love it,
And you come from a state that has the distinction, right? Roberts.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
come from the state that has the distinction of having the most, Maryland, the most escaped slaves.
Yes.
At one time, it was #1 for escaped slaves.
I need to cut us off right now. We're going to take a break. We have refreshments. There are 37 people in here, and we're missing about 11 of you that did not sign in. We really need you to sign in. We have to give an account of how many were in the room today. There are over 37 snacks.